Hi guys, in this video I'll show you the hidden world of advanced LLA scaling. So a lot of you guys have been using LLA audiences, especially for, like 95% video viewers, like those kind of like audiences. But I'll show you like more advanced stuff that you can do with lookalike audiences that you can use basically for testing, for, basically finding more audiences that convert and then eventually to scale. So if you're just like, whether you're like getting momentum with your business right now, like with your Facebook advertising, you're getting your first like 100 sales, or you're already having like, $100,000, $500,000 per month in ad spend, this will be very valuable to you because like once you understand this concept that I'll share with you, it's basically, will allow you to scale indefinitely with different audiences, with different lookalikes. I'll show you everything, how to set it up, how to basically leverage it, and I'll show you examples of, why it's so important that you understand this concept. So I'll show you everything, guys, and this will make amazing impact for your business. It will allow you to make more sales, more profits, and more scalability for your e-commerce or dropshipping business. If you have some event that's happening in your store or in your like on your website, for example, people adding product to cart, then after a certain number of those events, like 100 is a minimum, but I recommend 500, you can create an audience where Facebook will help you to find people that are quite similar to those that originally have been on that pixel, right? So in this case, for example, here's a list of 1,000 buyers. Let's say using your purchase event as a seed audience. Please find like two, like 4, 6, 10, 15 million people more like this in this country, so I can market to them, right? So basically, using the leverage of Facebook, kind of like learning who your ideal buyer is, who are the people basically who are your ideal customers are, and basically marketing to those people, right? What most people do in this case is that they would create like these lookalike audience, like from 0 to 1%, 1 to 2%, 2 to 5%, 6 to 7, 7 to 10, basically different like lookalike audiences, and these typically work great at the beginning. You have like some nice lookalikes that perform pretty well. You scale, and then basically you get to the level where you spend like $50,000 to $100,000 per month on ad spend. So you want to keep scaling. But what happens is that oftentimes those lookalike audiences become less effective. Why? Because, for example, to create like a good lookalike audience, ideally you would need like 1,000 to 5,000 events, right? Let's say if you're optimizing for a purchase, then it would be like 1,000 to 5,000 purchases, right? Let's say you've been scaling aggressively for like 6 months with the same product, and you're in e-commerce, then probably you have more than 5,000 buyers in that audience, right? And past that number, you don't necessarily get like any extra value out of lookalikes, because people who buy are people who buy, and pretty much, they're kind of like Facebook knows who your buyers are. But what happens is, let's say you are targeting like people who purchased like in the last 180 days, right? And let's say you're targeting them in May, right? So that includes basically people who purchased since like November, right? People with a slightly different mindset, right? And Facebook is still looking for you for those. So that's a problem, right? Or for example, you're selling product that helps people like overcome addictions, like smoking, right? Let's say people bought your product like 3-4 months ago. They're already working on their addiction. They probably stopped working, and they don't want to hear anything about it, right? They're basically focused on just like resolving it, right? And so like naturally, like it changed, right? Naturally, they're not interested in it anymore. They shift to another direction. So basically, that lookalike audience is not targeting people that are your ideal customers anymore, right? So let's say if you have like 180 days purchasers lookalike, then it's still like Facebook still thinks that these are your ideal buyers, but they're not, right? So in reality, anything like past like 90-day purchasers, custom audiences, like maybe like 60-90 days, you're starting to get like distorted data, right? So the solution here is, let's say you're hitting like 2,000 to 4,000 purchasers a month, then you need to shorten the time frame of your custom audiences, of your lookalikes. So instead of making like lookalikes out of like 180 days, make lookalikes out of like 14 days, 30 days, even like 60 days. Sometimes I'll show you like example here. For example, here you can see like we've utilized like 3-day purchasers, right? Purchase last 3 days, right? And these also like pretty much like 26 on 9. It was like pretty much like 30 days, you know, max, right? So that allows, you know, to, and you can see the results here. So for example, we spent $2,000 on advertising, $23 per purchase. Selling the products is $80. It costs like $80. So that's like around like 3.5 ROAS. And so you can see like 3 days, right? 3 days, basically like 30 days, right? So very short time frame. So if you want to go after like, you know, people that are the freshest, you want to go after the kind of like the freshest segments. I have the spreadsheet, guys, here. So, you can get it below this video, or if you want to get it also, like you can just comment for this document. So, in the comment section. So here, for example, lookalike a purchase event like last 3, 5, 7, 10, like basically the freshest events you can get. If you get like 100 purchases a day, then you can get like, for example, lookalike of people who have purchased in the last like 3 days, right? Lookalikes of people who've purchased in the last like 5 days, right? I'll show you how to create those. By the way, let me just show you. I think it will help you to kind of like understand how to create those quite fast. So you can go here, like create new custom audience, right? Website traffic, let's say, you know, people who have purchased, let's say people who have purchased in the last 3 days, right? This is very easy to create, guys. So you can see here, purchasers last 3 days, right? That's it, right? Create audience. This is it, right? So it's very fast. It's very, yeah, it's basically like very fast and very efficient, right? And so that the same way you can basically create, you know, these audiences, right? You can see like 30 days. These are the lookalikes that we have been using. So like the same way you would create like for 5 days, 7 days, 14 days, right? And so basically create all of these like different variations of these audiences. And you can also exclude, like for example, so here for example, we have excluded like purchasers, right? People who purchase, people who've engaged, right? Basically we want to reach like totally new people, and basically that allows you to kind of like facilitate that, right? Then obviously, you know, the way you would manage it, like all of these like freshes, that would give you like the best. Like you can see this one is like, I mean, spend like one ad set, spend like $1,200, generated 66 purchases, just one ad set, guys. So you can see that can be like very effective. So what you want to do is basically create all of these kind of like variations, and then see like what kind of like variations, whether it's like 3, 5, 7 days, performs the best. And you don't necessarily need to have so many purchasers. So what you can do is basically just go one step below, like add to carts. Let's say people, lookalike of people who've added to cart in the last like 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. I mean, so many variations here. Lookalikes of people even who watch your videos, like 95% of videos in the last, let's say like 10 days or 14 days, right? Lookalikes of people who engage with the page, like last 3, 5, you know, you can see how many variations are here, guys. Like, then let's say you have a lot of data, right? Let's say you have like lots of data. Let's say you have like thousands of purchasers, you know, like per month, you accumulated a bunch of data. Then what you can do is high lifetime value lookalikes. Basically, from your Shopify or even here. So if you click like edit, so here, if you click like create new custom audience, right, customer list, as you can see, use a file that includes customer lifetime value, right? And so basically it needs to have these kind of like variables, and you can customize your export basically from Shopify to have all of these variables. So Facebook can basically link and find those people for you, right? So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, basically to upload this high lifetime value, is basically just use a file here, and let's say you export all of the buyers that you have from your like Shopify. Let's say you have like 10,000 buyers, but you know like the 2,000 buyers that have bought like more than once from you. Then what you can do is basically just, you know, like copy and paste their data here, right? Or just upload the file with their data here. right? So, and you have to specify here, let's say directly from customers, right? Add a new file, upload the file, done, right? And then you name your audience. Basically, you name your audience as you need to. So kind of like gives you that kind of like perspective what to like, who to target, right? And lifetime value is basically the most valuable customers you have in your business, people who bought like more than 2 times. So or people who purchase more than a certain amount. Let's say you have a business and you sell, like 90% of your customers only spend like $20 with your business, but let's say 10% spend like $100. So these are the most valuable customers, and you can use that as a core audience for lookalike and create create these like all types of these like audiences, right? Let's say you can create that audience, and then for example, so this you can only use for lookalikes, but you can create like lookalikes of that audience at, for example, lifetime customers, right? So if you can do that, I mean, this can be very powerful, right? So lifetime value customers, you can export from Shopify like different segments, like for example, for the last like 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, again, depending on the number of customers that you have, but it can be very, very powerful. And you can see here, you can even create the lookalike of people who spend the time on the website, right? So for example, here, if you go here and you create like a new audience, like custom audience, say website traffic, right? So as you can see, all of these like all of these events, but visitors by time spent. Let's say people who spend like 10%, top 10% on your website in the last like 30 days, right? So top 10% last 30 days. Create audience, and now you can create like a lookalike, right? Basically, I mean, this is very powerful, but let's say United States, right? And let's say you want to like create like more extensive audience, like of 10 million people, right? 1 to 5%. Now you have an audience to target. So targeting becomes like, I mean, this is it, guys, right? This is it. Like, this is so easy, right? It's literally like 10 seconds to create it. So targeting becomes like none of an issue, right? Like once you have the initial kind of like data on your pixel, once you're getting sales, you can create so many variations of these different audiences to basically target and exploit, right? And you just have like totally like new world of scaling, because there are so many audiences that you can utilize. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video, hope you got value out of it. Go and implement these lookalikes for your business, test them out. Again, if they don't perform, like kill them fast, because you want to cut your losses, and not every lookalike will perform. So make sure you monitor your KPIs and kill what's not working. Please subscribe to my channel so you see all of the following videos that I'm sharing with you guys. I'll be sharing like case studies, strategies, interviews, like a lot of valuable stuff. So you will love it. And yeah, please let me know what you think in the comments, and like this video if you found it valuable. Implement it. Tell me about your results. Let's crush together.